Who are you? This is the most important question you can ever ask. And really, in a way, since a certain age, maybe 2 years old or sometime before that, this has been an implicit question in your whole life. So that at a certain stage of development, you are asking, whether it is a verbal thought in your mind or whether it's just the activity of your life, who am I? Who am I? And of course, there are many outside references that will tell you continually who you are, perhaps beginning with your parents, telling you that you are a particular name, that you are a particular gender, that definitely you have particular parents, particular relations, and on through your schooling that you're a good person, you're a good student, you're a bad student, you're someone who can do it, you're someone who can't do it, and on and on. The momentum and the power of this question and how it directs a life stream is the momentum of the searching for self. After a certain stage, early or late in a particular life stream, it's realized that who I am, however it's been defined by the outside, is not satisfying me. So you may have experienced great success, and possibly you have experienced great failure. Most likely you have experienced some success and some failure. And yet, unless this question has been truly answered, not just conveniently answered or conventionally answered, there will still be this sense of searching, and there will still be a lack of fulfillment. Because no matter how you have been defined by others, well-meaning others and not so well-meaning others, and no matter how you have defined yourself, either in accepting others' definitions or in rebelling against others' definitions, any definition, finally, is revealed to be not satisfying, not fulfilling. Then this is a very crucial moment in a life stream. It's sometimes called a ripe life or a mature life, where you recognize that no answer has ever satisfied this question. It's at that point that you can explicitly, that you can consciously ask yourself, who am I? And this question then is the path of self-enquiry. Self-enquiry, who am I? Life stream is a term I use for individual life. You know, we very much are conditioned to believe that we are this individual. And yet, when we look deeper, we can see there is life streaming through this particular body that bears our name. And if we look even deeper, we will see there is life streaming through everything that is animated in nature, in the mineral realm, in the vegetative realm, in the animal realm, and beyond. We can even see it in clouds, in the sky, in the wind, in water. There is a life force. I'm not exactly speaking of chi or prana, terms that are used in the Chinese way of thinking and the Hindu way of thinking, although that is included, but something more subtle, something more intimate, as well as being beyond. And so I use the term life stream as this individual, particular stream of that. And as you know, all streams are heading back to the ocean. They are heading however they may go. Whatever boulders are in their way, they are somehow coursing around or over to get back to the ocean of life. The experience of the truth of who one is the recognition of the ocean as never separate from the stream. That in fact the ocean of life informs and animates each life stream And this can be realized. This can be directly experienced. So this question, who am I, perhaps can be opened by another question, which is, what do I really want? If you have reached a certain stage, and again I want to say this has nothing to do with age. This can happen to a very young person, it can happen to a very old person. It has nothing to do with age, but there's a certain stage in a life stream where you can recognize, as I said, that every definition that's been given to you is not satisfying. What naturally arises from that is, well then, what do I really want? If my name didn't satisfy me, if my parents didn't satisfy me, if my gender doesn't satisfy me, if my role in society doesn't satisfy me, even though there may be satisfaction to some degree in all of that, but not truly satisfying me, then what is it I really want? So I ask you that. What do you really want? What is it you really want when all is said and done? I know that there may be some immediate response to that, such as, well, what I really want is a better life, or what I really want is to be happy, or what I really want is the right mate. I would then ask you that whatever answer immediately came up from this question, what do you really want? I would ask you to ask yourself, what will that then give you? So if you answered, what I really want is a better mate, then I further ask you, what will that give you if you have the perfect mate, the unimaginable dream soulmate? What will that give you? If you have a happy life, what will that give you? And then, if you come up with some other usual answer, well, then I will be at peace. Well, then I can rest. Well, I say to you that is possible now, in this moment, that it has nothing to do with a mate, as it has nothing to do with any definition you have of yourself, as it has nothing to do with anything you think, that peace, that rest that you are searching for in all the external references, even the biggest external reference, your idea of life and how it should go so that you will get peace, if you can simply, in this moment, discard your outward tendencies, your outward reference points for what will give you what you are searching for, what you really want. In this moment, if you simply stop and turn inward to yourself and ask yourself, who is wanting? Who am I? And from that, tell me if you discover, in truth, someone who is wanting. If you say, well, I discover myself and I want, then this is not quite following the depth of the question, because the question, who are you, is a question that ends all questioning. It has been assumed throughout the time of your life stream, that there is some individual I that is present, that is always present. And while you will discover this to be ultimately true, what in this moment you can discover is that this I that you have believed yourself to be, and that you have thought yourself to be, is not an object in consciousness. It is not somebody who wants. It is in fact that which is closer than that somebody, that which is always present, that which is untouched by any wanting and is already completely at peace and is at rest in itself. So this is the potential in truly asking yourself this question, in truly listening, and in being unwilling to accept any prior definition that you have accepted or rebelled against. Just in being still as you ask this question, this that you are naturally reveals itself because it's always here. You are that. Now you may be wondering who I am to speak to you like this. The truth is, I am your own self. Now this may sound quite shocking. That's good. I want it to shock you. Because you imagine that I'm someone else. And I know this imagination quite well. I lived under the bondage of this imagination for quite a while. So I'm happy to proclaim by way of introduction that I am your own self. Now, if you will just stay with me for a while, it's possible that you can realize what I'm speaking of. You may never understand it. In truth, it's not necessary to understand it to realize it. So having said that, I will even say it again. Who I am, in truth, is your own self. Using this life form, using this voice, using this particular experience to reveal itself to itself in you, whoever you imagine yourself to be. In this form, my name has been given as Gangaji. I'd like to tell you a little bit about my life so that you can see not only am I your own self, but I am also in this form very much like you. The question has sometimes come up about when did I begin life as a seeker? From this point of view, I can tell you that I've always been a seeker. But in this lifetime, when I consciously discovered that, some 20-25 years ago, I finally saw, aha, all my life I've been seeking happiness. Now I understand that what I am seeking is truth. That what I'm seeking is beyond some kind of worldly acquisition. So that must have happened when I first got to San Francisco from Mississippi, when I escaped Mississippi and got to San Francisco. And I began to look around and discover that there's something more to life than the right job and the right husband and the right child, the right looks, and that there's something more is alive and present. It was in the early 70s, and I had many wonderful glimpses of my mind collapsing as my heart, my spirit, my essence expanded to realize itself, much as you have had, many experiences, many glimpses. I was still frustrated, though, for all those years because it seemed that those glimpses were fleeting, and what was more regular was my ground of suffering, my ground of seeking, my ground of frustration. So I tried many techniques, and I tried many teachers to see if I could get some satisfaction, some relief. And I must say that I had even more experiences or glimpses of this indefinable truth throughout all of my seeking, throughout all of my experiences with teachers, some very powerful, some very famous teachers, some secret teachers. And yet still there remained this frustration that between the moments of expansion, there was this suffering, sometimes just mild, neurotic suffering. Sometimes it felt extremely profound suffering. And so it was at that time, after, about 15 years, that I began to say I must find a true teacher, that all the teachers that I have found, as great as they have been, for me, for this particular life stream, have still not been complete. They have not delivered this life stream into the ocean of truth. And so I made a very earnest and true prayer. And that was that I know the truth